of 68 Shining Moments presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Today, we talked to two of the stars from that Middle Tennessee State team that knocked off Michigan State in the NCAA tournament, Coach Kermit Davis and Giddy Potts. All right, now pleased to welcome in two of the stars from the Middle Tennessee State team in 2016 that pulled that huge upset over Michigan State, Kermit Davis, the coach then, now the coach at Ole Miss, Giddy Potts, the sophomore then, now professional player. And listen, guys, let me start out with this. Go back, Kermit, because I know you didn't win the league that year. You didn't win the regular season. So you needed to win that conference tournament in order to get into the NCAA tournament. Go through with me kind of the pressure that was on you guys to win the conference tournament to get that automatic bid.
Yeah, I tell you one thing, Jeff. It was, we'd won some games. We finished second in the league to UAB. They had a great team that year. And so we're going to the conference tournament. We'd won about 3 in a row. And Ed Simpson, who's one of Giddy's very best friends, who was a really good player in our team, he had one of the most horrific. He broke his ankle to where they put a towel over his ankle. The day before, now we're practicing in Sanford at Birmingham. We sat on the floor for 40 minutes, Giddy can tell you, waited for the ambulance to come and get him. And so now we're sitting here just going back to the hotel and wondering, okay, on this bus ride, how are we going to get our team back right? Remember that, Giddy? Ed showed up in our film room. He said, guys, I'm good. And our team just took off, Jeff, and we won, 3 games. We beat a really good Old Dominion team in the finals by 2. Reggie Upshaw made a couple free throws, and Giddy had a great tournament. And but it was a lot of pressure to try to win that tournament.
For sure.
So Giddy, you're sitting there on Selection Sunday, and you're going to face a pretty good team. Like, you're drawing somebody good that you're probably a 15 seed, maybe a 14 at best. What did you think when you drew Michigan State? Because they were hot. They had won the Big Ten tournament. They came in, honestly, a lot of people were picking them to win the whole thing. What did you think when you saw the Spartans?
I just thought I know we had a pretty good team ourselves. I thought that was one of the best matchups we could have had in the tournament because our bigs is like Reggie and Darnell. We were all locked in, ready to play those guys. If you'd have seen the looks on our face when they said Michigan State, you could tell that we were ready. And we just we really wanted to go after the Selection Sunday. We wanted to go in there and practice right then and there just to show that we was ready. But we had to take that day off. But I'm pretty sure all of our guys was ready, even down to Chase Miller on the bench. We was ready to lock in the next day in practice. Even on the travel day, we didn't have much to say, really. We were just ready to play in practice for real. So I think it was just that moment. We was just locked in and ready. But it was for me, it was the craziest thing because nobody in my family ever played college basketball. So just to be on that Selection Sunday, it was just one of the best feelings I ever had.
Well, you had that as a young sophomore. Kermit knew Tom Izzo's reputation in the NCAA tournament. And I'm sure, Kermit, when you saw Michigan State, you're probably like, oh, no.
Well, you know what, Jeff, because I'd watched their Big Ten game, and you're right. Denzel Valentine was a player of the year. And Giddy can tell you, after Ed's injury, we didn't do one physical thing for a week. Everything we did, Jeff, was 5-on-0. Now, we cut hard and did all that, but we didn't do one physical thing. I just want everybody to be healthy. We'd had a couple other injuries. Right. And so we went in there fresh. The one thing I did think, Jeff, is that, like Giddy said, Giddy led the country in 3-point field goal percentage shooting, but Tom's team was a good defensive team, but they're bigs. They're going to guard ball screens, real conventional. And Darnell and Reggie both could pick and pop, so the floor was spread. And we just, like I said, our preparation was good. And the big key was it, Jeff, we got off to like a 15-2 start. So we got immediate confidence early in that game.
Yeah, Giddy, what's it like? I mean, you come out of the gates and you're not thinking you're going to be up 15-2 coming right out of the gates. How good are you guys feeling? Almost too good that early?
I wouldn't say too good. It was just like the moment at that moment, it's just like you just got to calm down. It's a long game, 15-2. That's the start of the first half. So I mean, we just have to stay locked in, which we did, and just complete our game. It was kind of weird because I don't know. Kermit probably know. In high school, we played like the number one team in our state, and they had before we played them, they just had beat the team by 100. So it's coming from that and to the Michigan State. I try to not convert. I don't even know the word, but I try to simulate those two things because the team that I played in high school, they were pretty good. They was somewhat like the Michigan State team, had a good point guard, good shooters, and good bigs. It was just I had to. I don't know if Kermit know, but I told the team, I was like, all right, we got a good start right here. And this game, basketball is all about runs. So we just got to stay locked in and keep our composure and stick to the game plan. I mean, we did it. We came out with the win. I think that was probably one of the best games I've been in my life for sure.
One of the best? What do you mean one of the best? What game could be better, Giddy?
I mean, that game in high school was pretty intense.
All right.
Y'all don't understand just because y'all didn't play in it. It was just because it was versus. I think I was the number 2 player in the state, and Justin Coleman was the number 1 player in the state. It was just a big. I don't know if it's a rivalry, but it was just competitive nature out there on the court.
There were a few more people watching on this one, weren't there?
I understand that.
Biggest thing, what I took away from the game, Jeff, was how good Michigan State played. I mean, that's what people you kind of forget.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Michigan State shot 60% in the second half. They shot 55 from the game. They 11 for 24 from 3. I mean, they played good. We couldn't guard them, and they couldn't guard us. I mean, it was an unbelievable college game because everybody ran great offense. And obviously, it was just high level. And Denzel Valentine had 12 assists. He had 6 turnovers, but the Spartans played good. They really did when you go back and look at the game.
Yeah, they did for sure. I didn't realize that until after I watched the game.
Yeah. Well, you guys tried everything on
it was pretty competitive.
Defensively,
for sure.
Didn't you try everything on Denzel?
Yes. We we trapped him in our 1-3-1. Giddy made a couple great. He had about 5 turnovers against our 1-3-1. He had 12 assists, but he could just see the floor so well. They were so fast after a make. And but yeah, we did it. We switched every ball screen. We switched a lot of different things. So yeah, we tried it all, Jeff.
We'll get back to the show in a minute, but first, let me tell you about our partners over at DraftKings Sportsbook. With March Madness beating down our door, DraftKings is the best way for you to get a little action in on the game. If you've not downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app yet, what are you waiting for? It's the safest, it's the most secure, it's reliable, and it allows you to safely deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience. And this week, they're offering my listeners a pretty sweet deal. If you sign up now with the promo code FIELD68, you can turn $1 into $100 if one of the main event fighters in UFC 259 this weekend lands a single punch. That's it. One punch to turn $1 into $100. And don't worry, if MMA isn't your thing, DraftKings Sportsbook offers odds and promos on basketball, hockey, or whatever sport you're watching. But since they're basically giving away $100, you might as well sign up now, watch a little UFC, and remember to use that promo code FIELD68. That's FIELD68. You must be 21 years or older. The offer is available for a limited time only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Had you told them, Kermit, the history of the 15 beating the 2 going into this game and kind of that it had been done before? Maybe not recently. It had been a few years, but had you kind of educated them on the history of the 15 too?
The biggest thing, if Giddy can remember, our mantra was this, is guys, this is a shirts and skins game. And if we went to the park in Nashville and you guys just picked them up and you just went shirts and skins, nobody knew who was who. you would think you're going to win the game if you're on the pick.
For
And nobody
sure.
ever thinks you're going to lose a pickup game. And
Right.
we just kind of hung our hat on that, Jeff. We just really did that. I knew we had competitive guys, and these guys like get it. I knew those guys weren't scared of the moment. Now whether we could actually win it or not, I didn't tell those guys, but like I said, they just never blinked. And the biggest compliments I got as a coach was after the game, our guys didn't celebrate. They felt great, but they kind of shook their hands, walked off the floor. Really? And that was a good feeling. Like they knew they'd beaten a heck of a team, and played really well.
Yeah. Hey, Giddy, what was it like when they cut it to 1? I was 77-76 late. What are you guys thinking then?
We got to get a stop. We got to get a stop and score the ball. But I think, I can't remember. I think Darnell made a 3. Darnell made a 3 to go make us go up 4. And I think it was just a sign of relief. Like, oh, you can put your shoulders down, relax a little bit, But again, it's hard to even.
It's hard to remember all the plays. It's hard to remember the plays. They did cut it to 1. Giddy made a great kind of remember Giddy, a little busted play about 12-footer in the lane.
Pan through it for sure.
Yeah, and then when we were up, Jeff, the most iconic play in Middle Tennessee history was they had the ball on the side. Tom called timeout, and all 5 of our guys touched the ball. The game was like 5, and Jaquan Raymond stole it, went to Giddy, to Perrin Buford, to Darnell Harris, and then he hit it Reggie Upshaw, and he dunked it and got fouled, and it kind of sealed the game. And it was typical of that team, Jeff, because all 5 guys on our team touched it. Reggie dunked it, and it kind of just sealed the game. And just about that team and coming to the gym with them every day.
Yeah, that was the beauty of your team, right? All 5 starters were in double figures that game. You had contributions from everybody all year long. I mean, that was kind of the beauty, I think, of that team. Older, right? I mean, Giddy was kind of the young buck in the team, but you had 3 senior starters. And that's generally the way you pull an upset like this, right?
No doubt. Sure. Yeah. No doubt. Reggie was a junior, Perrin senior, Darnell Harris senior, Jaquan Raymond senior. You can tell Giddy, he was a sophomore, but he looked like he had been in the league about 7 years. He's always older than the cats. So they didn't think he was a sophomore. But you're right. I tell you, we did have, Jeff, talent. But God, we had some good guys on our team. We had just good people, and they did. That was a fun moment being in that locker room
for sure.
Afterwards, for sure.
Giddy, you became like a star. The name helped, right? The name certainly helped. Sure. You beat a big boy like Michigan State. What were those hours like in between, obviously, playing Syracuse? What was it like for you, and how your life kind of quickly changed almost?
For me, it's just like for me with basketball, I know like basketball. I knew basketball was going to be like a big stage in my life, but I didn't know it was going to take me that far. So all I can do is just like smile, thank my mom, thank Kermit for helping me, because where I come from, a lot of people don't make it, that far. But all I can do is smile, like keep my head up high. Really, like it's crazy because a lot of guys from my city is talented, but there's a lot of things that brought them back home, messed them up in life. But for me, Kermit helped me get out of the situation. Even like Kermit said, I was homesick. I was ready to go back home. But he told me, stay here. You have, and I think, because after a while, I think after like 2 months, I never went home. That was probably the thing that could have happened to me with that and with my basketball career. And it helped me go on to this day.
We'll finish off with again, kind of what it meant for you. I mean, you had been there for 14 years. Obviously, it catapulted you to Ole Miss in the SEC. But just kind of looking back, what this meant for you, what this meant for Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, Jeff, grew up in a basketball family, and I took a lot of pride and I never thought I was going to leave Middle Tennessee. I'm serious. And I felt so good for our players, but I felt so good for our fans and felt so good for Middle Tennessee that it put us on the national stage, even as an institution, and so that I after the game, talked to our team and I went in the shower, just there, not took a shower, just kind of stood in there for about 3 or 4 minutes by myself and just kind of gathered thoughts and kind of reflected a little bit. And it was really cool, but the main thing was just for guys like Giddy and the fans. And I knew what was coming from a media standpoint, from our university. And so that was probably the greatest part for us.
Was there some post-game memory that you'll always, somebody calling you, somebody congratulating you, just something that you'll always remember that was almost like surreal?
Yeah, my dad couldn't come. He had gotten the flu. And so, being a coach, he's one of the first guys that I talked to, and just how proud that he was and excited. And I tell you what I remember more than anything, this is crazy. My sister, Jennifer, we walk into the hotel afterwards, and I think, Jeff, she'd already had a drink by that time. All right. She'd had a cocktail, and she looked at me. She goes, "What in the hell just happened?" And I never forget that statement, and so it was kind of just, just the elation of our family and getting a chance to be with them for a few minutes before we went on to Syracuse.
Well, listen, I appreciate both you joining me. 2016 kind of Cinderella story, certainly Middle Tennessee State, one that we'll never forget. Kermit Davis, Giddy Potts, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Thank you.